And we are live. Welcome everybody to another episode of You Know What? Let me just say podcast. I am your host, Ray. With me as always, we have Dion.
Good evening.
We got Shining Wolf.
Hey everyone, time for a good podcast.
Oh
We got
Lord.
D Wolf.
Greetings.
We got Crystal.
Hola.
We got Material Life.
Hey.
And we have Xavier.
How you doing?
Oh, speaking of Whitney Williams, she coming back, man. How you feel about that?
Oh, you already know. You already know. I
When
know
is
she's coming back. It's only a time of matter of when and when.
I'm glad she's in good health. So that's
She's
good.
Yo, did you
good help?
she's always been in good health. So these blogs be talking stuff, and it's like, you know what? Until I hear from the horse's mouth, I don't trust none of y'all.
did
All
y'all
right.
see did y'all see the picture of young Wendy Williams?
Yeah, I
Oh,
seen it.
Man, she was a badass motherfucker. What? Jesus Christ.
don't start
Yeah, but you
talking.
gotta yeah, but you gotta ain't she pushing 60 now?
Hell
Yeah, and my
yeah.
favorite thing to say is, let's show y'all mothers now and back then too. Don't be trying to talk
Um,
about my girl.
To, to be fair, my mom turns 55 this year and people think she's my sister.
They think she's
she
what?
was
I said my mom turns 55 this year and people think she's my sister.
Oh, I think you said 15. I was like, goodbye.
she was like bad. She like a snack.
Oh yeah, and her Philly days. Oh yeah, people really thought she was sexy when she went to Philadelphia. Uh huh. But health problems and shit. But she looks better in person. Let me tell you that though. I went to her show, and I'm not saying that just because I'm a fan of her, but she honestly looks even. She looks more attractive in person. Because if you notice, if you ever watch her show, people always say, "You are so beautiful." Like she is very different looking in person. I don't know what it is. Like she's more radiant and she's more
Mm.
feminine looking, and also her breasts don't look as large because the cameras put on
Mm.
like 10 pounds on you, and
Yeah.
also it kind of exaggerates a lot. So her breasts don't look as ridiculous. They're big, yeah, you
Yeah.
can tell they're big, but they don't look ridiculous.
Yeah,
So her
everybody's
titties
not
so her
photogenic.
titties do be tittying, but they don't titty as hard as people think.
Yeah. Yeah, annoying.
Yeah,
Tired of them.
everybody not as photogenic as some others.
I learned, what's funny? I learned that in America's Top Model. I forgot which one. It was the dark skin one that like in person she was like real beautiful, but when it came to her pictures, it was she wasn't coming off as real photogenic like. So that's where I learned that a lot just because you're beautiful in person, sometimes it doesn't really come across on the pictures.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
there's how many attractive guys where it's this. I don't know if you ever heard the term where like, oh no, you need to see the person in motion because the person in motion they're so good looking, but like in pictures they look like nothing. But
Mm.
in person or like when you see them moving, you're like, oh yeah, attractive. But just in that stupid picture, you're like,
Mhm.
it ain't working.
I had an ex that was like that actually. Like if you look at her and face to face, she like I'd be melting. She looked great, but when I take a picture and I look at the picture, I was like, yeah, she's not very photogenic. I don't know what it is, but it
Like
just ain't.
like X said, man, that camera does something to some people.
Yeah,
It
It might be
definitely,
the angle. It just might be the angle. That's it.
it definitely worked on Aaliyah. Mm. Aaliyah, well,
You
you
know
never
what? A
go
lot of
ahead.
her pictures, a lot of her angles was top down. So
Who?
top down works for a lot of people. So,
I mean, she was pretty regardless, but yeah. But I did notice like a lot of her videos and all that. It was very top down. Like she's always looking up.
So
So
we
you
don't
have a point there.
we don't feel like the camera
Wasn't
is
she
really
wasn't she
capturing.
kind of short anyway?
Aaliyah?
Yeah, wasn't she
No.
short anyway?
She was 5'7". She was a nice height. She was a nice height.
Yeah, she's actually above average for a female. That's actually
Yeah.
above.
Uh-huh. That's why she was able to pull off that baggy clothes shit because she kind of like was a little longer, so it didn't look too like baggy. It was baggy, but like it didn't look like it looked kind of good on her. Yeah.
Mm. Mhm.
Alrighty.
I did. Yeah. All right. So, all right, let's get on with the podcast. And I want to start off with something that I think is pretty funny because I done seen it. Y'all seen them new distressed Balenciaga shoes that
Oh,
Don't
that they try to
get
sell
me
for like two grand?
started. Don't get me started. Mm.
Which y'all, which y'all think? Who do y'all think is gonna buy them things? Because
Um, People are going to buy them. Let me just tell you right now. People like to let you know that they have the money, and they're like, "Yo, like I just spent 2 grand, 2K on these sneakers."
oh Lord.
That's really what it's all about. Because Balenciaga's new designer, a lot of people love his new stuff. I hate it. This is not what Balenciaga was about. He was a couturier, and the clothes that this new design Demna, the shit is so fucking ugly to me. Everything is oversized and bland and ugly, and people love it. So you know what? If you love it, that's on you. I can't really say too much, but these shoes, people are definitely going to buy them. I promise you. You go to New York, you're going to see people wearing them. Now, granted, you will see some people who are pretty fly, like Asians. I know some Koreans are going to make that shit look hot. I don't know. It's just that Asian curse. They just put on something ugly, then all of a sudden the shit is hot. But oh, and also dudes from the hood dudes, they're going to be wearing that shit because they all love the ugly ass Balenciaga.
Those
Every Balenciaga shoe that's out there that's ugly, they wear it.
to be honest, those shoes look like regular white kid shoes.
Honey. Okay,
Like
well the one from the advertisement is not what's actually being sold. Those were just for the advertisement. They're extremely dirty looking ones. The other the ones that they're
the skater,
selling,
the ones
huh?
that wear bands and stuff, they shoes be looking that distressed by the time they let it go.
Right. And the ones that they're actually selling are not as they don't look as dirty at all, but still. And then what I find funny is they have a pair that's regular, and then they have the distress one, and the distress one costs more than the regular.
Mhm.
So
That's
obviously they're
weird.
they're charging you because of the work of cutting, because cutting is so difficult. So
Because you got to do it in a way that the shoe is still wearable.
exactly, even though it ain't that hard for them to do because they have the utensils for it. But yeah, people are buying it. Trust me. People just want to be like, I love Balenciaga. I wear anything Balenciaga. Just like their PlayStation, they had that hoodie, the PlayStation hoodie, and the hoodie was $1,800. I mean, it was 900. Excuse me, $999. It just said PS5 in the front,
Nigga,
and then
what?
and then now they have one that says gay, and it looks like a Gap hoodie, and it's pink, and that one is 1,000 something dollars. And I'm like, yeah, Balenciaga, no,
Again, nigga, what?
no. Like I love my designer stuff. I spend money on designer stuff too, but I've come to the point where if it's not something amazing that I can wear for years on end, and some of his stuff is not even collectible. It's just shit that's for right now, and people are not going to wear it in 2 years, and then they're going to try to resell it. Who the hell wants that shit? Nobody wants that, except
The
for
funny
Answer
part
Press
is the funny part about that. Two things. Number one, they don't care.
at
As
all.
long as someone's buying it,
Of
as long as
course,
someone buys the shit, they don't care. And
of course.
second, this um I feel like this should spark another conversation because there are other clothing lines that are going this route with the distress look.
But there's distress that is cool, and then there's distress that is just like, why for that price? Like those shoes could easily be
Looking at you,
$400.
Yeezy.
If those shoes were $400 or $500, I'd have been like, okay, because I love this brand called Golden Goose, and they're known for having distressed sneakers. And people used to be like, Xavier, why do you pay that much for sneakers? But I just love the look. Like it goes with a lot of my outfits, yada yada. But those 1,800 plus tax, you're going to pay 20, 60, 20, 40 for them. And I don't understand. They're not worth it. And plus, they're not even leather. They're fucking cloth. Like, I really want people to wake up and be like, yo, you designers are really bugging out. Just like fucking Chanel raising the price of their handbags every fucking quarter. A damn Chanel classic flap used to be $2,500, $30,000 when I was a kid. Now it's fucking almost $10,000. And it's not even made the same because they used to do 24 karat gold plating on the CC. And they don't even do that anymore. So what are you fucking raising the price on? It ain't labor.
They broke.
That.
They ain't no damn broke.
It's not broke. It's not broke. It's one of those things where they say, you know what they say, that you're not buying the clothes, you're buying the brand.
Right.
It's one of those.
I know this girl, she complains about the prices and she still buys the shit. I said, you're a big client. If you stop buying it and you say it's because the prices are getting ridiculous, if all of them were to do it, I guarantee you Chanel would drop them prices. But they keep buying the shit. So Chanel's like, well, our top clients are buying this stuff still. So fuck all y'all broke asses. Our clients is buying it.
Wow.
Humanity.
I don't know. I think it gets. I don't know. I've said it's gonna get to a point where it's just because them shoes literally look like they've been through a shredder, and it's just like I can understand distress, but them things look like they've been through hell and back.
No.
And
That's what I was saying. That one, the one that you're probably talking about, that one was for the advertisement. I'm gonna send it in the group chat. The ones that are being sold, they're not as dirty and nasty looking. They're not
okay,
as
because the one,
yeah.
because the ones in the ass, I'm like, yo, hey,
Yeah. I know. Horrible.
it's like one of them had a Sharpie and just said Balenciaga. I said,
Uh-huh.
I was like,
Now, granted, the one I just sent in the chat, it ain't, that much like better, but it's way better than the other ones. These are wearable at least. If these shoes were
okay,
like $300, I'd buy it. I'll just buy it. I
okay.
do like distress, but no.
I'm looking at the photos and I'm just like, yeah, the difference is wow. And the price is damn near for the distress torn up
It's
look. The price
double.
is damn near triple.
Yeah, right.
That does not make sense.
And
Why would I want to
again,
pay this much money to look like I'm homeless? I don't get it.
it's not even leather. It's cotton.
It is cotton. Oh my god.
Like,
Okay, these aren't bad for what I seen in the advertisement,
right,
but
exactly.
okay.
Exactly. Because I love a good distress look. I always love that stuff. But no.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not paying $625 for no sneakers, regardless. Let alone paying the $1,850 for the beat up looking ones above them.
Hell
The,
no.
the most I've ever paid for a pair of sneakers is $150.
I think he's gonna say I was like 150 or 200. Mm-hmm.
I paid the most I paid was 200. And
I'll
that's like
I'll dump 200 off some Timbs depending on the Timbs. But for sneakers, the most I'll pay is 150.
I said the one shoes I ever thought about getting, and I don't, and only because they were selling for the limited price was the Marty McFly's because I knew they was going to be a collector's item, and then now
Mm-hmm.
they're going. Them things are super expensive, so I think they bought at least at least 15 grand. The last time I checked, I don't know, but The Marty McFly ones. Them the ones I was like, those. I always thought they looked cool, and since they put them out, all I seen was celebrities with them. So I know they're expensive now.
Hmm.
But I mean, I say this all the time. I get some things is just fashion, and I do think if you have the money, you can get it. But there's some parts of fashion I look at it, I'm like, I don't see it. I don't get it. And especially, I know you've seen these videos. It's just like these rich kids, and they tell you how much these shirts is costing, and they be like, this shirt $200, these shoes 400. You know, like
But
But the
that's me
clothes
too,
be
though.
ugly.
Remember, like at AI, I was wearing stuff like that. But I used to be so embarrassed that people would ask me, and I would not tell them the price. Because y'all used to be like, how much was that, Xavier? Because remember, I used to always go shopping. I used to go to Barney's in Georgetown and All
yeah,
Saints and shit. And I used to be
That's
so
yeah,
not
embarrassed,
fair
but like,
enough.
that was me too. But, I was getting nice stuff. Stuff that
I get
lasts.
wanting to look good or whatever, but you don't have to. You don't have to drop, hundreds of dollars on a single item of clothing
It's,
for your
you're
shit to look
right.
nice.
You're right, but it's a curse for what we do for fashion. It's a curse.
I could go somewhere right now, be the best looking, best dressed motherfucker in the room, and my entire outfit, including the shoes, will cost $250.
Me too.
I mean, if you budget on a budget, you can do that.
Right.
Uh,
You just gotta know. You just gotta have style and know how to put it together.
yeah,
That's
Facts.
it. That's it.
because I've seen a lot of people that buy a lot of rich stuff and look dirty. So
Okay. Let's talk. Don't get me
Nigga,
started
these
on this
sneakers
one.
X just showed us.
No, 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 no. Mm-mm. Not even that. We're talking about the hoodlums that I see at Neiman Marcus wearing those expensive $1,500 Balenciaga shoes, and they look dirty in them. I'm like, how you look? I'm like, how y'all look that dirty in Balenciaga? Oh, cause y'all wear it every fucking day, and you smell like weed, and and you up in here. Look,
exactly.
I'm gonna be quiet.
It's
Just
Oh, the nigga tree.
it's
I wish y'all could see
The
them in
nigga tree.
Neiman Marcus because y'all would be like, what in the hell?
oh man. This actually, I don't know. This actually like falls along the same topic. I know we were supposed to hold it. That he was like, um, when I said I think men's fashion might be better than women's fashion, or some because I've been seeing some of the outfits that's been like some things look good, but some things just be looking terrible. But I think only reason people like them because women want most of the men just look at the outfits like they just want to fuck the girls, but I still think some women outfits are just terrible looking. So that's
I
just me.
think it depends on the demographic and depends on what fashion we're looking at. Because if we're talking the Instagram IG model fashion, that's trash.
The
Most
Fashion
definitely.
Nova shit. 'Cause some of that, nah, some of that Fashion Nova shit, I'll be like, nah, that shit.
Yeah,
Dead.
It looked like high class stripper wear. I've always
exactly.
said that.
And
That's pretty much what it is.
I get so annoyed because I'm like, what happened? Like the Harlem Renaissance, I know that was over 100 years ago, but my damn, like we've come so far from the Harlem Renaissance era. I'm like, what happened to my people? I mean, okay, let's go back to the 70s where black women will walk down the street in little outfits. Okay, don't get it twisted. Like I ain't saying they had to be all nuns. They were walking around with little short shorts and little halter tops, but they were so fabulous and cute because it was natural bodies. Nobody was walking around here with triple D implants and these burgeoning hips looking like Nicki Minaj and Beyonce and Botox and all that other shit. They were just natural. Everybody was slim, majority of everybody was slim.
It,
It just
it's
looked
more
cute.
to it than that, though. It's more to it than that, though. The clothes is one thing, but as far as I mean, okay, not the clothes, the people's bodies and everything was one thing, but the clothes themselves, yeah, they showed some skin or whatever, but it was still motherfucking tasteful.
Yeah, it was tasteful, and then plus there was a certain class with it. You had a walk. You was like, sweetie, you better back up and don't be trying to touch me. You better recognize who I am. Being all cunt. Oops, excuse me, this is the wrong podcast. Being all fierce.
It is funny you say that, Zay, because I said if you give them like three categories, I would say casual, like somewhere you would wear it in a lounge or in a club type of setting, and like somewhere like a gala, like a Met Gala or like places like that. I feel like in them three categories, I think the men would probably take two of the three, depending on
And
like
the
the
reason
type
why
of trip.
men was is because men's fashion really hasn't, and I'm gonna say heterosexual fashion, even though gay men and straight men kind of wear the same thing, but you know what I mean when I say this.
I do.
In heterosexual fashion, like it hasn't really gone far. The furthest was that, extremely baggy, ugly stuff in the early 90s and then, having the one leg up and one leg down with the Timbs and the hat, a little beanie on the side, looking real street.
I blame LL Cool J for that shit with the one leg and shit. I
Him
blame
and
LL Cool J for
him
that shit.
and him and Tupac. But a lot of men still do a classic jean and t-shirt, a button-down shirt and some pant or suit. Like that's still a thing, but women always had options. So they've always pushed the boundary of how short of a skirt can I go? How small of a top could I, get away with? And because it's always been really hard on women, and then liberation comes around, and then they're like, "Bitch, you can't tell me what to wear." But some of them, I'm like, "No, sweetie, somebody needs to tell you what to wear." Because you're going to the fucking pool wearing a fucking bathing top bikini that is so fucking small it just barely covers your nipples. I'm like, that's just inappropriate. I'm like, not even this for the kids, but it's like, why are you at the pool like that? Like that's some like real
At least not in a
sexy,
public pool. If you was at your own crib, that's another story.
yeah, with your man or something. But it's like, girl, you're giving video vixen. Like, no.
I don't even want to say that because even some of the girls who be in the music videos and shit, yeah, again, some of the shit they would wear, depending on the woman, still had some class, still had some motherfucking taste.
Well, depending on what era.
I was
I
about to
mean,
say
because you
Superhead
were
had like
okay.
pasties on. Superhead had pasties on in mystical video, so I don't know we do that.
I
But
repeat, it depending on the woman.
yeah, and also too, because some women can't pull off certain things that other women can do, and it also depends on like how you make it look, if you make it too sexual or not. That's why a lot of people felt like there was a big difference between Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj.
Right.
Some people thought Nicki Minaj was a little bit more sex, even though Lil Kim talked sex, but when she wore the stuff, it didn't look so inappropriate because she was wearing it on stage and to like little performances. I don't know. It's just stuff that people say, but yeah, no. A lot of people say that they think men fashion is better. There's a lot of women that I know who were into style and stuff, and they think men have better stuff. But it's more so like in the designer realm. So you know, like I said, I think it depends on the person.
Yeah, you do because you do have a point because a lot of women have options that can go to, but I can tell that a lot of women like, especially when I see some of the. I don't know if you've seen the pictures. We were like some girl she buys the Fashion Nova and the model she got like the curvy body, and then when it comes to the girl that gets the stuff, she kind of like a body of a square. And I'm not saying she's badly
Damn.
built, but she got different type of body type, so it
Yeah,
doesn't look like it would look on the model. It doesn't look like
Nah,
on her.
you
So
and but
you
some
said
of
she
them
looked
knew
like a
better.
square dog.
But some of them know better, and I don't be feeling bad because I'm sitting here like, sweetie, the girl in the picture is much smaller than you, and you're over here with size 20 legs, and a very small waist and very big breasts, and you thought the dress was gonna look just like how hers looked, you need to wake up.
All right. Any last words before we move on to our next topic?
Yeah, I'm looking for the fashion. All I see is movie props. That's all it's become these days. All I just see is like everything is a costume nowadays. I don't see any fashion. Nobody tries. That's how I see it.
You gotta go to Europe.
I just think sooner or later everybody's gonna pop up in stuff that look like it came out straight out of an anime. But then
Mhm.
again, I say that about the Met Gala all the time. I was like,
That's
some
where
of
it's
that shit is
headed.
anime inspired.
Some of it.
On to our next topic. Did anyone see can heard the story about Candace Owens pulling up on Patrice Cullors? I think that's the last name. The one of the
Yeah.
co-founders of the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Okay. You ever heard about that?
no.
It's funny.
Uh. Okay. Long
Yeah,
story
me
short, I guess.
neither.
Uh. I try to keep it brief. Basically, because I think we done did a story about how she keep buying them mansions, and a lot of people don't know where the money for Black Lives Matter is coming from. So Candace Owens basically pulled up to one of uh Patrice Cullors' mansions into her front yard trying to get an interview, and s- um, Patrice Cullors basically tried to play the victim on social media. So she literally was in her front yard trying to get an interview for, I guess, some documentary or some shit like that. That's basically what happened.
Bruh.
That shit was funny. That
You
shit
want
That's
was
to
it.
know?
funny, son.
You
I
want to
was like,
know? You want to know my issue with that whole thing? She's not doing it for the benefit of the black community. She's literally doing it because she gets to own a black liberal on camera and report back to her white masses that, hey, yo, look at what these Democrats are doing. Look at the Black Lives Matter. That's what she's about to do. That has nothing to do with helping the black community as a collective. I don't even know why her funky ass went over there in the first place. You just as bad.
You
even
just
if the,
you just answered your own question.
even if that's the case, yo, that just showed everybody what we needed to know because a lot of people still ain't listening. They see the reports about where that money's going, how the nobody's seeing that money where they were supposed to see that money, and nobody's saying a word. You don't see anybody complaining about Black Lives Matter who were used to support them. Nobody's saying, oh shit, you did that? Nah, we got to get on you now. Nobody's doing it. So somebody's got to do it. It's a shame you had to leave it up to her. Somebody's doing it because no one else is. So I
You
can't
know
get
what?
mad that she's
I
doing it.
kind
That
of
shit was pathetic too. The way she was still there and she was streaming live, and like Candace had the phone as she was crying on the phone talking about the bullshit. And I'm like, son, word. And she's like, oh my God. I was like, you
I
see how quick they
I
switch on
love when
that
people
victim
cry.
shit? You have security, son. What you crying for? She can't, what, she gonna hurt you? She's pregnant. She's fucking, yo, she can't see past the belly button right now. What's she gonna do to you? But ask you questions. But you feel threatened, right? That shit was funny, son. I'm like, yeah, keep going, son. Keep digging yourselves in a hole. That shit was funny.
I don't know. Nah, bro. I I don't think that it did anything. I really don't because like we knew that she bought the $6 million mansion. As a matter of fact, all of us here can pretty much admit that Black Lives Matter kind of set us back as a people because it tokenized our issues. Now instead of people actually, giving a fuck about black people and their issues, what do we get? A fucking Black Lives Matter on the street like fucking Sesame Street. Like, bro,
Not
really,
enough people, yo. I can tell you
really,
that.
bro.
I
And
see
at
too
this
many
point,
people still supporting them.
bro, at this point, it's not about the people to me because the people are always going to be propagandized. They're always going to take symbols and they're always going to take certain shit and then apply it to places where it doesn't matter. And people are always going to fall for it because they haven't been taught how to critically think. But my particular issue with this entire thing is that Candace Owens is like, she's one side of the coin that the Black Lives Matter people are. And now I'm supposed to laugh along and kiki. Like, nah, I'm not doing any of that shit.
Oh, you don't have to. You don't have to. But that shit was funny. She did it herself, yo. She put in no work in that. That's all I gotta say. She hardly tried. And the worst part, well, one point she made was that security was black, and I'm like, oh, so you couldn't even at least hire a black security? It had to be a white guy that you hired. Really? Go, yeah. Keep crying to your white massa. Yeah. Okay. But this is for us though. Y'all been doing this for us. Where that money going? What neighborhood did you move into? Who you hire? Who you helping here?
Good old Calabasas.
I just,
Good
as
old-
loud as the BLM movement was before, they need to be louder in front of this $1 million mansion, the way that they were when they were in front of other people's businesses and so on and so forth. Candace Owens, of all people, if you were a part of the Black community, then a lot of people in the Black community do not agree with Candace Owens. They think she's a coon, or maybe she is a coon. But at the end of the day, it's kind of interesting that it's her exposing this woman again and not people who haven't been considered a coon one day in their fucking life. I think that Candace Owens should have been the last person to do this. I think a lot of people in the Black community should have been the first ones at that mansion place trying to burn it the fuck down. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about millions of dollars that's been donated to what? What Black?
So fucking scared. That's why.
It's fucking ridiculous. Now we're
Yeah.
quiet. Not personally me. I bitch about this shit every fucking day because it's ridiculous.
Right.
And guess what? Our Black children are still in the foster care system. What's happening with them? They're still being sold off in the court system based off of cases. None of that fucking money, and it's pissing me the fuck off. None of that money is being sent to the Black community in any way, shape, form, of any abundance, any positivity, nothing. And it took a woman that everybody thinks is a coon to go to the fucking mansion to interview her.
They care too much about what people think, because I will post this shit all day, every day, not just this topic, but everything, right? And I'll get likes up and down, and I'll be like, yo, you can like my shit all you want, but are you going to share it? Are you brave enough to share the truth? You're not. And that's why then people like her are doing it. Now we have somebody to make fun of or to question her motives. But where's the lie in what she's doing, though? Where's the lie in the exposure here? But now we leave it to them, the people who get paid, the woman that's married to a white man who's having a mixed child now. That's, all this going to be thrown at her, where there are people who are concerned about Black lives, who are concerned about where the money's going, who are concerned about what the fuckery is going on with this organization, but they'll shut their fucking mouths when they have to speak on it. They don't speak on it. But I'm going to keep speaking on it, yo. These pussies could stay here and just suffer, because it's the same thing with the whole Biden thing. It's hilarious. So I'll just keep going.
Live organization debacle. It's like a repeated, like it seems like every 2 or 3 months her $1 million mansion gets put right back on blast. Like at this point, it's like, okay, like you're not bored yet. Like, no, I love
no, because people are like, what is it gonna take for people to wake up? That's what it is, because there are too many who are still ignorant to the shit, and willfully too. And I can say that. I know people are willfully ignorant to it. And I say this all the time on my show. Like, I know it's just shame. It's just shame. And they're afraid. Like, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm fucking wrong. I'm wrong a few times, but the few times that I usually am, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that. Oh, well, now I know. It's so simple, yo. What do you lose? What do you lose? You just gain something new. You gain a new perspective. You grow from a mistake. I don't understand when people start making fun of somebody for voting this way and that they turn out to be wrong. Then just admit it and be like, oh shit, they got me. Because I was got. You know how hard I was going for fucking Obama? You know how hard I was going for that motherfucker? And I had to admit everything. And I'm looking at people around me. I'm like, yo, y'all suffering. You know you could say something about it or do something about it, but you're still rolling with the punches. You're still gonna stay there and suffer because somebody's saying this. Like, and you're gonna go turn on me like it's because I'm fucking brave enough? You're kidding. This is how people function. So it takes this. Okay, what's in the mainstream that people can focus on? What keeps popping up every time somebody loses a black man loses their life to a white person or this, that, and the other? What's that? What's the one thing that everybody that riots are called for suddenly, right? Is this organization? It's the biggest thing that pops up once something goes down. That's why they keep choosing this. It's like, look, these people are stealing your money. Every time something goes down, these people are stealing your money. Look where it's going. Look, they're trying to grab what she's doing and what plenty of people are doing, try to grab people by the back of their fucking head and shove them and force them to fucking look, prying their eyes open like, what's it gonna fucking take? Because you're asking for this change, you're bitching about everything that's going on, but these are the perpetrators. Look at what they're fucking doing. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. I had nothing to do with this, yo. I'm just seeing it and I'm calling it out. What are you gonna do? Because you have a lot of energy when it happens to be an opposing party or something like that. You have a lot of energy. If it's your own, yo, you should be more concerned because you should be wanting to clean this shit up. You don't want these people to make your people to look bad, do you? No. It's a shame that, and that's why I hate is always some white guy or somebody like Candace, someone else has to do it, but nobody that's bitching, nobody that's suffered has the balls to do it. And it's insane.
Okay,
I kind of look at this, and this is a very ignorant take on my end. But I kind of look at this as like one of them hood fights where the girl's outside another girl's window and she telling her to come outside, and there's like five people there, and she like, ain't nobody gonna jump you. This just a one-on-one failure. That's how I look. This is the first thing
It
that
might
pop in
as
my
well have
mind.
been, son.
It's like this is like a professional political version of bitch come outside. Ain't
Mm,
nobody gonna jump you. You know, and
that's a
I feel the same way about the way
perspective.
Father. Out of all people, why Candace Owens and why couldn't someone else or Crystal said it too? Why it had to be Candace Owens of all people? Because
but
I don't like neither of these people, but you're not gonna make me
Candace,
side with Candace Owens either.
but Candace isn't the first or the last. She's technically like the last person because Black Lives Matter organization has been really debacle, destroyed, open, wide open. They looked at all their files, everything, not just her, but several members. They have all been removed because people started looking at the finances and stuff like that. So Candace is hella late in the ball game. So just because the only reason why this is going viral is because she popped up at homegirl's front door with the cameras and home. If the girl did not start crying on her live or whatever she was on, nobody would have cared. It's like talking to deaf people about something when they can't hear you. Like after a while it gets old and it gets exhausting. Like
Now that
y'all
when you
keep on
think of
repeating the same thing over and 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 over. If people don't want to hear it, they don't care to hear it, they don't want to be told the truth. After a while you have to be exhausted with trying to talk to people who don't care to hear it. Like
here's the thing, there are people who would like to hear or may have a care in the world for it, but they have no access. There are people who just don't know. And that's because of the mainstream media. You just don't know. They don't know. There are people you tell this to, and they're like, holy shit, what? Because they're focused on fucking CNN and the rest of them. They don't know. It's got to reach them. It's got to reach them somehow. It has to be, a controversial figure then in order for you to fucking get it. Sometimes that's how it works. I'm not gonna exclude the fact that she has her own show and shit. She's trying to make some documentary and this and the other. Yeah, she's trying to pull in some money as well. Do your hustle, but at the same time, this is one of the reasons. Because think about this. Everybody has this one view of the whole January 6th thing, which is completely the opposite of what we hear all the time, like pushed through the TV and the radio about what happened that day. It's the complete opposite. People are focused on that, but nobody's focusing on the bullshit that happened. Nobody's thinking about the destruction of black-owned businesses and all that shit. Nobody's focusing on that. So if you could focus on this and have enough eyes, if the right amount of people, the right people catch this who were ignorant to it, who did not know because they're busy studying mainstream media, if they catch this, they can look further into it now. Now they can branch out. Now that their eyes can open, like, oh, so it'll lead to another thing. It'll lead to, let's say, January 6th. It'll lead to them looking at that. Then it'll lead to them, wait, but okay, let me look at some of these BLM videos and see the difference. And you see the difference and what's going on. You see the fires and shit caught up, the whole car right now singing, all that shit. You start putting the pieces together. Some way, somehow it has to be done. Because these people are very good. That's what I say. These people are evil, but they're fucking geniuses. They have this word magic, this wizardry that will you won't know to look at something because they say things as a matter of fact on the news that I'm like, yo, they are good, son. They are good. The way they just say it, like it's not like nonchalant, matter of fact, like you don't, no way in your mind you question some of the shit they say, or a lot of the shit they say. It's
All right. Any last words before we move on to our next topic?
Yes, I'm going to have to say something. No one's going to care about the black community having their own stores burning down until the black community cares about their own shit being burned down. You can't expect people from the outside to come with open arms, and then one moment you're like, we want to be accepted, we want this community to see us, and then as soon as they come over, you're pushing them out, talking about what's the real reason why you're here? Oh, why are all these white people marching here for us? Blah blah blah. They don't understand. Like, what the fuck what is it that a lot of the people in the black community want? Because this is what we used to talk about back in 2020 on this podcast, because this shit still happened and a lot of people act like they don't remember, and a lot of people act like they didn't read about it in the 60s when Martin Luther King Jr. Was assassinated, murdered actually, and on H Street people was burning down their own, H Street in Washington DC was burning down their own fucking shops and stores that was for the community because he got killed. What sense does that make? And look how long it took for H Street to get rebuilt. It took about like 45 years until something got done, because they didn't really start getting renovated until 2012, 2013. And
keep shit
I don't understand. A lot of people say this whole thing about, oh, they didn't really put too much on our stuff. Yeah, when they were looting the fucking Target, everyone kept saying it's a white corporation. Oh, they have insurance on it. Yeah, but there's black employees working there now. They're jobless, and then Target claims they're going to pay them still. But how fucking long? You don't even know that, because Target is probably lying, just like Starbucks be lying.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
We don't know how to keep shit in house, yo. We're too. I mean, this is one of our.
Wait, hold on, because I need to finish what I'm going to say.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Candace Owens also, I know a lot of people don't like her, but a lot of times she speaks facts, and a lot of people don't want to hear it because they have this thing about her. They already have a bias towards her because of certain things that she has said. But Candace Owens actually speaks some facts if you really fucking listen to her. And I've had this argument on here too. When she went to the BET Black Summit. Well, no, the BET Summit, Summer Summit, whatever the hell it's called, with T.I. and all of them. And T.I.
I think it was Revolt. I think that was Revolt, or it was Diddy's channel. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and with Killer Mike and T.I. and shit, and T.I. kept fucking wanting to talk over her, but she was talking facts. If you know your fucking shit like she did, you wouldn't have been talking over her, because you already know she was speaking facts. Why? Because even Killer Mike had to jump in for her and say, y'all need to shut the fuck up, because actually this sister right here, who is black, is speaking facts. This is shit that I talk about. This is shit that I read about. But y'all so busy saying because she just, first of all, she's not a Republican. She always said she was never a Republican. But then she would go back and say something about Trump. And it's like, okay, girl, like, what are you doing?
She's
she
a
flip-flops.
conservative.
She flip-flops like Omarosa at times. But at the same time, I'm not going to hold one little thing that she does and everything she says out her mouth is is bullshit or it's crapola. Like I'm not going to do that because sometimes she really does speak facts, but a lot of times people don't want to hear it. And a lot of things that my mom and I was just talking about today is that a lot of times the Black community don't want to hear facts about themselves, and they don't want to look in that dirty mirror and
Exactly.
hear the same shit, the rebuttal that people are talking about, because you know. I'm still trying to figure out when are we going to stop making music disrespecting women to the point where it's just disgraceful. Because I'm quite frankly, I've never heard white music talk like that about their women. And I cause I go to raves, country music, I don't hear them talk like that.
Wow.
And it's like I really be sitting here trying to think to myself, I'm like, do I hear white music? Like, do they talk like that?
Nope.
Maybe a white rapper, but I'm like, yo, like I'm like these guys don't
The
really
romance is
talk
gone.
about their women like that.
Romance.
Or when
They
the
Same
leave
black
with
nothing to the imagination in them lyrics either.
and then
I'm
with
like,
the
yo,
Hispanic music, it kind of started changing because you know the music from Dominican Republic, they kind of started the whole trend of talking disrespectful too. But Hispanic music, especially Mexican music, they weren't like that either. So I'm like, yo, like when are we gonna stop that? And when are we gonna stop glorifying this hood shit and talking about drugs and talking about sex? When are we gonna stop that? Now everybody, yes, everyone talks about sex and stuff like that, but it's like when are we going to really stop doing that? Because we already know that it influences our young men, and now I find a lot of girls are really like acting like men too. When I
Mm,
say act like men, like like that whole like they talking and walking like
right.
niggas.
Mm-hmm.
what about the
I
girls
was like
stop being naked?
I'm
FREE,
sorry.
fuck,
Hold
nigga,
on.
freak.
So
What did you?
Our
I
so
think
black female artists has to be are literally 50% naked on all of their videos versus their same white counterpart. Like, let's be
right,
honest.
yeah,
Do y'all really
yeah,
and
need, like I'll get so tired of looking at y'all naked at this point. Like, put
for
on clothes.
real,
yeah,
it is.
but like that's the thing you have to pay attention to. You have to pay attention to how they paint the image of black people in America. The reason why that narrative is
We
so
can't
like,
we can
but
put
the
that
thing
blame
is,
on other people because that's not even other people. Like Normani
but
when she came out
but
with
what you have to
naked.
but what I'm saying is what you have to understand is yes, there are black people that do that. There are black people that genuinely do that. But to paint that as the main image of black people is what I'm getting at because that's what they do on purpose. That's the like
But
that's the entire thing. That's what they do all the time.
But
So when
Wallace,
people
when
have
as
that,
soon as we have black people that do something different, they get talked about like Sierra's husband. It's corny. Black
yes,
people don't act like
yes,
that. Black
because
people don't do this.
that
Black people don't
yeah,
do
that's my
that.
point. That's the point that I'm
You know what I
making
mean?
because that image is there. You understand what I'm saying? That image is there for everybody to see. So it's going to be, of course, it's going to be scrutinized. Of course, people are going to have something to say about that type of behavior. And then when they look at proper examples of men actually doing their job, like Russell Wilson does, they call it corny because they don't understand what it actually is. Because they've been conditioned to view themselves as like, low self-esteem.
But you
Everything is
can't say
negative.
I don't agree with the condition part because it starts at
It
home. It
is
starts in your
conditioning
neighborhood.
though. But it is
Who are they
conditioning
seeing?
because
If
it's
you are
no,
growing up
but
in a neighborhood with no cable, who are you conditioned to see? You're seeing your father smacking up your mother and smoking and
exactly.
drinking all the time. You're not watching no news or you're not watching no nothing back then. You're watching little cartoons. You're going outside, play fighting with your friends. Who you're conditioned to see what?
But
You're who's influencing that but your own family and the people in the neighborhood.
yeah, but look at what you said. Those things happened, right? These things happen in the
Right.
black community, right? So that's what I'm saying. The fact that that type of
It
stuff
happened at my house.
exists. But listen, the stuff that type of stuff exists in the black community, the stuff that type of stuff happens in the black community, yes, those are issues. No one is saying that that stuff doesn't exist. But the point is, when you look at other cultures, they have their shit too.
Of
But that
course.
shit, yeah, but that shit is not. That's not what you usually think of those people when you first think of those people because of the way that they control their image. That's what I'm
Exactly.
trying to say.
We don't
So
control our
yeah,
image.
we don't
And as
control our
soon
image.
as you get somebody that tries to show a different side of black people, our people are the first ones to scrutinize and say, get the fuck out of here with that whack ass shit, because this is not how we
Yes,
do.
Yes, that's
So
true.
it's like
That
kind of
is
like
true.
it's like you can't blame another culture for being like, oh, this is how they act, and then it's always people talking about some of these racist tropes. I'm like, it's not even racist tropes, it's a fucking shit. It's true. Black people do eat fucking chicken. Cause every time you fucking go down the damn street, you see a niggas wanted to eat fried chicken every fucking second in DC. Every second, they want to eat fried chicken. They're at the fried chicken spots. You at home, they fucking making fried chicken,
That's
and
because
it's
What
like okay,
environment are
yo,
they
what
in?
it's like how can you be upset that they're saying that this is what black people eat, but yet you the first thing you want to talk about is Chinese people eating rice because they do fucking eat rice.
because they concern themselves too much. We concern ourselves too much about what other people think about us. We don't know how to keep things in house because we're busy thinking about what that person
Yes,
is
I'm like,
judging
why
us
don't you just
based
turn around
on,
and
and no
say,
other
bitch, I sure
races
do
don't
eat fried
fucking
chicken.
care.
We
Other
sure do
races
eat
don't
fried
fucking care
chicken.
what other races think about that other race. They're like focused on whatever's going on. That's why
And
you
they always
rarely
talking about
have someone within the race.
white people eat all these salads. Okay, that's a
Yeah,
bad
like
thing.
they don't. That don't even hurt them. You notice that, right?
I'm
When
like,
you
yeah,
when
and
you
that's
say
why
the
they're
shit like a
fucking
Chinese
at
do this,
60
like the
years
tiger
old.
moms and
The
shit,
mother is
that don't bother
skinny,
them.
and your fucking 70-year-old grandmother is over here with gout and fat and can't even get out her motherfucking seat. Because you want to glorify drinking all that sweet ass fucking iced tea and fried chicken and mac and cheese instead of having your fat ass grandmother get her ass up and lose some goddamn weight.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about white people jogging in the winter? Look at that boy jogging outside in the
You
winter.
mind other people too much, man. I'm
Bitch,
telling
But
you.
at
that's the
least they
thing.
working out.
But,
Okay,
The
all the way.
right,
to be
right,
all
and
savage and shit. Okay, I'm gonna need
right. And my thing is like that, like everything you've just said, like everything that we have been talking about up like right now, like these are things that happen, right? So if something like that is observable for everybody to motherfucking see, there are going to be negative stereotypes about you
Of
based on
course.
that type of reality.
Cause we have
But that,
negatives.
but
I
that
can tell you
can't.
negative stuff
But
about
what I'm
Indians.
saying is, yeah. But
You
what I'm
know,
saying
like
is, but what I'm saying is that cannot be the main thing that defines us because that's negative. I don't want that type of stigma put on me. I don't want that type of stigma put on black people. But I feel like a lot of people that actually see this issue don't actually really understand what is happening here. Everything you just named about people eating fried chicken and shit, like look at the environment that they are that they are forced in. You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
want it.
You
I'm
look at
sorry. Nope.
no,
I
no, you
don't
look at
want to
no.
hear
I'm
that
going to give you an
because
example.
in
I'm going to give
Africa,
you an
they don't
example.
be sitting there eating no damn
I'm going
fried
to give
chicken
you
and they
yeah,
barely
but I'm
have
going
shit
to give you
to
an
eat
example. I'm going to
in
give you an
some
example.
areas. I don't want to
So
make it seem like
no,
I
no,
don't know
the
for
reason why
Africa.
I'm saying that, but listen, the reason why I'm saying that is because there are societies where if you go outside, and I know you know this because I know you know, like about other countries that you study them. Like, for example, let's look at certain cities in Norway and look at how they structure their society, and look at how in the happiness index they're amongst the highest. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
We're not just talking about shit that's observable for people in the hoods to see. We're talking about something that is bigger than that because these are environments that are placed upon black people and other types of people because of the history of this country. I'm not saying that it's an excuse for their behavior, but I understand what the issue actually is
I
because
do
they are
too.
in
But it's
right,
like when
but
you're
they
going to
are
make a
in
change.
environments, yeah, but they are in environments where that change is not going to be inspired towards them. All they're
Well,
going
whose
to
fault
be
is
is
that?
no, but
Our
listen,
own.
but with their
I'm
but
sorry,
listen, if
whose
they're
fault?
in that
How do we go
environment,
from the Harlem Renaissance where
Exact. I say this shit
we
all the
had
but
fucking
time.
yeah,
houses in
right, but
Harlem,
we're
gorgeous
right, and
houses, and then when they moved out and white people moved in, and then them white people moved out, and then the other black people came in and started running down these fucking neighborhoods in New York and don't want to take care of their fucking property. Whose fault was that? It don't take you nothing to take a fucking broom and sweep your motherfucking
Mm.
driveway and your damn steps.
Because we
It
don't
don't
look
take.
at
It takes
ourselves.
nothing
So
to
We're
sweep
afraid to
your
look at
shit.
ourselves. We're quick to blame
And
this
let me
one
tell
and
you
that
something.
one.
In New York, the Caribbean side of Brooklyn is cleaner than the American black side. Okay, you go to Brooklyn and you see all them Jamaicans and Trinidadians, they be out there sweeping. They be taking care of their little bush. And same, depend on what kind of Hispanic, because some of the Hispanics are too American and they start doing the same shit too, like the American blacks. But you go to some parts of the, like in Brownsville, it's more regular American blacks in Brownsville than East Flatbush. And Brownsville is fucking ran down like southeast, like Anacostia Berry Farms is ran down just like that. They don't take care of this shit. And I'm sick of us having excuses. It don't take nothing to sweep. Sweep your shit.
Accountability, man.
You
Accountability.
have all
Stop
this
minding
money to
other
spend
people.
on fucking weed. Go buy a bucket of paint and go paint your goddamn walls. It looks fucking nasty. You got all this fucking money to be selling cocaine and shit. Help your fucking neighborhood. Because my mother said back in the 80s, them dudes who used to do drugs, they used to be helping their neighborhood. Sometimes they don't do it. Sometimes they do. They used to have block parties. Used to have all kind of stuff. They don't do that anymore.
Got the weave, but can't
I'm
pay for
tired
formula.
of us always having excuses for why we don't have nothing. There are the Dollar Tree. There are Dollar Trees in the hood. They sell vegetables. It is not their fault that you're not buying it. The damn frozen vegetables is $1.25. If you cannot buy $1.25 of bag frozen vegetables, whose fault is that?
But let's get the
You
new
need to
iPhone though.
you need to pick and choose what you want to do for your family. But you're worried because you don't eat healthy shit because you keep talking about it's nasty and it's for white people. I can't tell you how many times I eat stuff and people tell me, oh yeah, your mother make asparagus. Yeah, and she eats Brussels sprouts. That's not white people shit.
Hey, good for them. I'm like, I'm still
And
eating
these are just
I'm gonna live.
my ignorant friends. I have other black friends, of course. Some of us in here, we know about that kind of vegetable. We eat that shit. But my ignorant friends, I'm like, come on, what do you mean it's for white people? How is a vegetable for white people? What, broccoli for black people only? It's a fucking vegetable. Like, come on.
So trust me, I'm hearing what you're saying. Like, no
And I'm
bullshit.
not
Like,
yelling.
I'm
You know, I'm
really,
not yelling at you. It's just
no,
I
no,
get
no,
so
yeah,
mad thinking
Xavier.
about
You're
it.
Yeah,
passionate. You're passionate. It's all right.
So,
You're passionate. We
yo,
get it. You're
listen,
passionate. You're
listen.
passionate.
So yeah, like listen, I'm listening to everything you're saying because you give a fuck. You
Yeah,
understand what I'm
like
saying? You give a fuck because this type of behavior that you're seeing, this type of fuckery that you're seeing within your people, within black people, people that you're among, people that when other races look at you, they're going to be looking at that type of shit that's in your like everything you just explained. That is the issue. You understand what I'm saying? The fact that this is observant for other people to see that
yeah.
type of degeneracy and then is pushed on them and then imposed on their children so that they grow up with these stereotypes about black people there. And so anywhere we go, we keep getting disrespected. Everywhere we go, people don't fucking take us seriously because they be watching movies like Precious that like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
all of that type of shit for everybody to
Yes.
see is exactly the issue that we're trying to fucking
Right.
fix. But the problem is it is on a massive worldwide fucking scale that it's not going to be easy for a lot of people. And I'm not trying to say this as making an excuse, but I'm trying to frame it where you can understand that our
No,
problem
I
is
do get it. No,
fucking
trust me, I
massive.
do get it.
This
But
is a
it's
this is
like
a
I just feel
massive
like
ass problem. This is not a problem that just a few people was affected. An entire race of people in three motherfucking continents were affected. Three continents. That is millions of people that is subject to this type of conditioning. So when you have that, people are going to be fucked up as a result. Because what type of people have been through what black people been through? And we're still here, still fucking fighting, still putting on the cape for people that really don't give a fuck about us. Because if you notice, every time black people get something, everybody fucking moves up. All the POCs and all that, they get moved up. That is a fact. But if Mexicans or if another group got something, they get their shine, and then we don't really, benefit from it. But when we get shit, everybody motherfucking benefits from it because we are the ones in history, undeniably in history, we are the ones that stand up to oppression. across those three continents where we have been affected, we never stopped fighting. And that's what I need Black people to understand. That's what I need you, Xavier, as a fellow brother, and you know I love you. I need you to understand that we are fighting this. We never stopped fighting. You know what I'm saying? So what I need for like everyone to really understand here is that at the end of the very day, like we all as individuals, we have the responsibility to represent our race as something people want to see. We are supposed to set that example. And everything I just explained about how people have been conditioned to see us is the fucking weight we have to carry when we hold that responsibility. So when we go out there and face this white supremacist ass world, we also need to understand that as Black people, we are the examples. When certain individuals meet us, we represent the race. So we cannot subscribe to having that type of negative stigma and mentality towards our people. It exists. Yes. It is there for everybody to see. Yes. That Black people are fucked up. Yes. But always remember that your responsibility, the responsibility that I just explained, that is your resistance. That is your form of reversing the stigma about us. That's why we also have to be the ones to make sure that we are right. You know what I'm saying? That we individually are right. We're doing things that enrich us. We're doing things that put our beauty in a spotlight again, put our magnificence in the spotlight again. Build the fact, remind people of the fact that this world motherfucking exists because Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we need to put out to the world in order to combat the conditioning